Welcome to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
All right, back on Knightline the morning after. We are broadcasting from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio and the 1148 studios because I'm at home trying to do this show. Brought to you by Chad Barr, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit chadbarlaw.com. All righty. Well, we are taking your calls at 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line, or you can send us a text to 1232, or you can reach me, AP_Knightline on Twitter. We are still having a little bit of technical issues, I believe, but we'll try to go through this. Ben Stout is with me in the studio. I don't think we're going to try to go to the phone lines at this point because I'm still getting feedback. So I don't know if you guys are hearing everything double, but I am. It's very weird. It is what it is, I guess. So we'll try to get through this. If not, and you hear another program start playing, it's because we didn't get everything fixed. It is what it is. All right, now I don't have the
maybe it's
double
fixed.
stuff in my headphones, which is absolutely awesome. Okay, well, we may be there. All right, so Ben, welcome. Night Nation, welcome. This is a little weird today.
It is
what it is. Live radio, it happens. It's nobody's fault.
Yeah.
We've reset computers and everything. So it is what it is.
Yeah, we gave Night Nation a little bit of window into the world of how we try to bring this show to you every week. So we're happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for remaining patient.
Exactly. And Chase and everybody back there in the Victory Casino Cruises.com studios, thank you. I think it is fixed at this point. It sounds a lot better. Okay, so not a lot of sports stuff still going on, but there is light at the end of the tunnel then.
It feels a little bit better this week. It feels like we might start making some adjustments towards a new normal, a new future that involves sports.
I don't like that whole new normal thing.
I know.
I don't like that. Yes, overused. It's just like there's a lot of things that have been overused. I still don't like the word social distancing, but if it is what we have to do, it is what we have to do. Anyway, things are getting a little bit better. Florida's opening up. Tomorrow is the first of phase one. So if we have to, we need to get college football going. Mm-hmm. That's all that I'm concerned with. I don't care about anything else except I want college football to start on time. No spring season, no winter season. I just want it to be college football as it's supposed to be. Honestly, I don't even care if we're going to be out there, to be honest with you. As long as we can watch it on football and we can talk about it and the season goes on and championships are had, I'm good with it.
Yeah, it is rather interesting to see if we're there's more and more talk this week that I've been hearing about administrations of these universities throughout the country that are seem to be leaning a little bit more and more towards the thought of opening up the schools in the fall for regular classes. So with that type of news, where the administration of the actual schools are leaning more towards that, I don't want to get my hopes up yet, that's for sure, but it does start to point in a more positive direction for sports starting in some form and fashion.
Yeah, and I think that's obviously what we need to happen. The kids have to be on campus, I believe, to get football started anyway. There's definitely been workouts going on outside, of stuff, not, university sanctioned or NCAA sanctioned, but there's players getting together with other players getting together with guys that are in the NFL. Speaking of guys that are in the NFL, we have the Griffin speech. Shaquem and Shaquille Griffin did their speech for the commencement yesterday at UCF, and I've got that audio, so we're going to play that here in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
it's really cool. It's about 8 minutes long, but it's a good speech. They did their speech for the commencement, and I think it's cool. It's not J.J. Watt, but it's still pretty good. J.J. Watt, I think, gave one of the greatest commencement speeches ever, to be honest with you, at Wisconsin a couple of years ago. So, I wouldn't compare it to that, but this is really good, and I think it's extremely cool that two of the highest profile players probably to ever come through UCF, got to give the commencement speech in a weird commencement as it was with the social distancing and all this whole thing. So at least they could bring some normalcy and have these guys come out. Two of the greatest ambassadors ever as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
one of the cool things about that, speaking about those two guys being such legends at UCF, but also put us on a huge national scale as well with Shaquem's story and, his connection with his brother and the program and just how well he fought through adversity to excel at the highest level. It is really cool to have those guys be Knights, and even yesterday on ESPN on the bottom line they were showing Griffin twins do the commencement speech for UCF for 2020 graduates. So it was played on a national scale yesterday. It was a national story with not much going on in sports, and so having those guys be UCF Knights is fantastic, and congrats to the 2020 graduates.
Alrighty, hey, let's play that real quick, and we will be back to talk about that after. But here is the speech from the Griffins yesterday at the UCF commencement.
What's up, Knight Nation? Class of 2016 here, Shaquem and Shaquille Griffin. And first and foremost, I want to say congratulations to everybody that's graduating this year's class. I also want to say thank you to UCF for giving me and my brother this opportunity to speak this year's commencement speech. Definitely an honor. And today, I thought about writing the speech down. You usually do, but I want to be authentic. I want to be real, and so I'm here, no pen, no paper, just me. And first thing I want to talk about is just real life and real life after graduation. And the first thing, first you gotta know your worth. Know your worth, know the sacrifice you made to get here today to graduate, and you all earned it, you all deserve it. So going out there, I want to tell you guys a little story. I'm going to revolve around athletics because it's the easiest way for me to express how I feel. So you guys just bear with me for a little bit. I remember leaving high school, attending my first year at the University of Central Florida, and I was on my high horse. I was on cloud nine. Just felt like I was that guy. I came from high school. Well-known guy in high school. He was that dude, and I got comfortable with that. And that's who I thought I was. And attending UCF, you start to go through different scenarios and hardships, through college, and all you guys can relate. There's always been some hard times in college, and so going through my freshman year, my sophomore year, heading to my junior year, I hit a little wall. And this wall caused me to forget who I was, forget the worth that I thought I had, and it put me in a position where I felt like I couldn't finish. I thought I was going to make it, and I had second thoughts about who I would become or who I am becoming. And, and it's kind of cool to tell the story because, my brother, being the guy that he is, and he motivates so many people, he doesn't even know that, he's one of my biggest motivation. Going into my senior year, his junior year, him finally getting the opportunity to play for the first time. If most people do know our story, you kind of know everything that he went through, since he was a child, attending UCF, and just see him get the opportunity and take full advantage of it because he always knew his worth. He never forgot his worth. Everything that he'd been through, he overcame it because he always knew who he was, should I say, I'm sorry. And that kind of brought the light back to who I was and who I am. I figured out who I wanted to be, and I found my worth. I knew I was going to be something great, and I had to believe in that. And the only thing I could ever ask for was opportunity, just like he asked for. And I knew once I got the opportunity, I was going to take full advantage of it. So the main thing is never forget your worth. To this day, I will never forget again. And you guys should never forget your worth because look where you're at today. You made it this far to graduate, and you deserve that. And now it's time for you to just find your purpose. What's the reason why you do all this? What's the reason why you sacrifice so much time away from family, to be able to get this next exam done? Make sure you have the best grade so you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. So find your purpose, find what makes you happy, find what you love, and you take full advantage of it. And remember, being a UCF Knight, all we ever needed was opportunity. And, and being a fellow alumni, that's all we ever needed, and then you take full advantage of it. I feel like there's no one better than UCF, and I feel like we are the future. So let's continue to be great. Let's continue to, strive for a better tomorrow. And let's do it. You deserve it all, man. I'll let my brother take it on from here. Yeah, that's a tough one to come behind. I want to say thank you to UCF and fellow alum and future alum for allowing my brother to do this commencement speech. It's a lot I can say. I mean, coming to UCF, man, being a young pup, not knowing what's going on. But one thing I can say about UCF is it allowed me to figure out who I was. It allowed me to experience certain things like adversity, and not only adversity, but certain pleasures as opposed to meeting new friends, new family, being a part of a great nation like Knight Nation. UCF did so much more than just being on the school campus and seeing the beautiful scenery and being in Orlando. UCF brought brotherhood to me. It brought family to me. It brought so much more than I would never have thought to accomplish or gain at a school. It's so crazy right now. I thought about writing a speech, but I did not. I thought about getting help from my agents or somebody else help me write it. But it wouldn't be true to me and to you unless you heard my words and how I felt. And I felt that y'all should hear from the heart. And all jokes aside, I'm in like a half suit right now, and I'm pretty sure you guys are at home comfortable. And it's like wondering why we, doing the commencement speech over the phone, but, doing this, very, very serious topic. And, with the coronavirus and everything, make sure we all practice social distancing. But yeah, man, we want to make sure that you hear from us. And the one thing I really want to talk about is adversity. And I think adversity made me who I am today. Just to put more into it, don't let adversity dictate who you're going to be. I mean, this is a time in your life where you're going into the real world, as what our parents would say. But take advantage of every opportunity you get. Don't allow obstacles and different barriers that's going to be in your way to dictate who you're going to be and what kind of person that you want to set out to show everybody. Just to give you an example, just come out of college. I didn't know how I was going to go. I didn't know how the job was going to be. I didn't know where I was going to be at. By the grace of God, I got an opportunity to be back with my brother. The best feeling that you can ever get. And even through that time, I felt like, everything was going my way. I felt like everything was figured out until it wasn't. I experienced a lot of adversity during my first year in the league. But that was just something that I needed to go through. That was something that taught me. That's something that built me to be a better person. But I wouldn't know how to do that unless I was an alumni of UCF. What separates us from everybody else in other schools, the other nations, is that we're strong. We know adversity. We felt it before, and we know what to do when it comes. You beat it, you fight it, and you attack it every single day. It comes at you, and you become a better person, a better you. Now, through this adversity, you always got to learn how to be strong. You always got to know when things get hard, you fight even harder. And that's one thing I want you all to take with you. Don't let adversity, don't let obstacles stop you from being great. Don't let obstacles stop you from helping the next person out to you. Look to your left and look to your right and know that you got people behind you supporting you. And always know that you're never alone. I got you, Knight Nation got you. We all got each other. So always remember that. And one thing I want all of you to take with you, when you leaving this beautiful campus and you can't come back unless you come for more schooling, help somebody out. Be great. Change the world. That's what we're here for. That's what we came to UCF for, because we wanted to help. We wanted to change the world. We want to make the world a better place. If I know I can help one person, that one person can help 10, and that 10 can help 1,000 later. So with your help, with your greatness, the Knight Nation greatness, let's make the world a better place. And I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing all of you out there. Knight Nation, fellow alum, congratulations. I'll be seeing you soon. And one more thing. Knight Nation, being the best nation, we refuse to be put in a box or be categorized and think that what we can't be and what we will be Let's continue to be great because we are great and we are this future. So, like my brother said, let's change the world. Go Knights.
Alrighty, that was Shaquem and Shaquille Griffin. This is Knightline the morning after. I'm Andrew Phegley. Got Ben Stout here with me. We've also got Roger Night Bengal on the phone. If you can hear us, Roger, I'm not sure if you can talk to us or not with all the issues.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Alrighty, there you are. All right, we're going to take a break here in a couple of minutes. But we will talk a little bit more, obviously, about this the speech that they gave. I think they did a great job.
Oh, yeah.
It was really cool for UCF to do this in the first place and to have those guys come out and do that speech. Real quickly, we got just a couple of minutes. What did you think, Ben?
We could talk about Shaquem's part in a second, but I thought Shaquille's best line was, coming from UCF, all we need is an opportunity, and I think that's such a great display of how their football career and the football team has been such a microcosm for us as UCF alumni and students and fans for that matter. And all we need is an opportunity, and you're a graduate, going into the real world, quote unquote. Take every opportunity in front of you and excel through it.
I think the thing that I got out of it, obviously, was talking about the adversity that Shaquem has gone through, obviously, through his entire life. And I think that no matter how long his NFL career is, will be something that he can obviously talk about for the rest of his life. And he should, because he's been an inspiration for millions of people.
Absolutely.
It's an amazing thing what he's done with life in general, not just college career, but playing in the NFL and all that stuff. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of a break here. We'll be back with Knightline the morning after, and we will have Roger on the phone, and we'll talk about all kinds of things, anything we can come up with to talk about. All right, thank you. Back to the studio with the little issues we had this morning. Thank you very much, Casey. Really appreciate it.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, back on Knightline the morning after. I'm Andrew Phegley, and we're live from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio and the 1148 studios, brought to you by Chad Barlaw, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036 for a free consultation, or visit chadbarlaw.com. We got Roger on the line. Roger Night Bengal, are you there?
I am, and super excited to be here.
All righty. Well, first of all, what did you think about the commencement speech there? Were you able to hear it?
I was. For me, it's kind of goosebumps because
Roger, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep. Go ahead. What
Okay.
do you think about the commencement speech?
Well, for me, it's really a microcosm, as to borrow Ben's word, of UCF in general, right? So these two embody who we are, and we're able to speak to it in a way that's unique to most, right? Because they both battled through their careers. Shaquem more so. Shaquille was always expected to start, but Shaquem, never was given the opportunities. And then as this magical 2017 season unfolded, he became a rock star and a focal point and was able to unleash who he was. And I think part of the reason that we identify with him so closely as a university is because that is our trajectory as a university, breaking out from that regional status into a national university and really an international university with campuses in China. We've got the Arecibo in Puerto Rico and all that other stuff. It really is who UCF is. They touched on overcoming a box, right? So a lot of people, whether you're talking about athletics, whether you're talking about research, whether you're talking about academics, they want to put UCF in a box. I mean, people call us all kinds of different things, commuter school, all these things. What they don't realize is we're not that anymore. So to me, their individual journey identifies so closely with UCF's that I think it's just a perfect match of who UCF is, who we're going to be, and I think they strung that along or brought that thread throughout their speeches and into what they see UCF and who we all see UCF will be. Together, we're strong, and as many alumni as we have, yes, we may be large, but as many alumni as we have, we're unstoppable, and they are the perfect examples to embody that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Roger. And I just, I'll again say that the Griffin twins they're so great at being a good example of UCF and who we are as Knight Nation, because they've dealt with adversity in their past. They've overcome it, but their future, as far as, I should say, the greatest things that they're going to do, they haven't done yet. Their future is so bright, and that's exactly the way I feel about this university. Not to get too sappy about it, but it's true, is that we might have a short history, but we've got one that is very robust, and certainly with the 2020 graduates and those that have come before it, and those that will come in the future. The future is what really is. This university is all about, and whether it comes to sports or research or the academic side of it, certainly the future is bright, and I think they're such a great ambassador for this school because of that particular fact.
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, I just think that they are the perfect people to be ambassadors for UCF. They're the perfect people to be ambassadors for anything.
Really, yeah.
But of course, for their school and y'all's school. Not personally my school. I did not graduate from UCF, but I feel like
you're an honorary alumni.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I've done a little bit. I don't know, but
I think that's an understatement.
All right, so I appreciate that. By the way, I'm not taking that for granted.
We're going to get him to cry on the air again. It's going to happen.
No, not today. It will not happen. It almost did earlier, so it's all. I was about to cry when things weren't working good. No, I'm just joking. All right, so another thing that we want to talk about, we'll get started on this now. They came out with this, ESPN came out with this football FPI thing, Power Index 2020. And I was a little bit surprised about the FPI that they're giving UCF. I don't know. I mean, are you shocked? I mean, are you guys shocked about this? 17.3.
Not at all, Andrew. Not at all. Honestly, I'm surprised that more people are seeing us as sleepers this year because we're returning so much. I mean, you look what we did last year. And we only lost a few people to the draft. We've got a lot of juniors that are becoming seniors this year, both defensively and offensively. We've got a freshman quarterback who was putting down records for UCF records, and that offense isn't going away. So I think when you look at the numbers, you look at who we're playing, UNC has gone from a cellar dweller in the ACC to a contender for the ACC championship. That bodes well for our schedule, and that's a portion of it that goes into. And then our recruiting rankings have been not where we want them to be, but decent. So, when you talk about that number, just to kind of throw some stats out there, they have us as the FPI as number 14, which is our highest ranking we've ever had. We have 1%, according to their ranking, chance to win, and nobody besides the first 7 people on this list have a higher chance than 1%. That puts us ahead of UF, which is exciting. And just, growing up in Central Florida, to say that UCF has a better chance to win the championship, to win it all, than UF, even at 1%, is huge. I mean, I don't think I can overemphasize that enough. Nobody thought that would ever happen. And now you've got 77% chance to win the conference. There's No one else in the G5 that has over 50%. The P5, just Clemson and Oregon. Everybody else is below 50%. 10% to crash the playoffs. So they're actually giving us a 10% shot to make the playoffs this year and 16% chance to go undefeated. I mean, those are huge numbers. And, considering we kind of have a handicap with the recruiting rankings, that means that the returning production and our ability and our schedule and how we mesh up against the schedule, they're really, really high on us this year. Considering we only lost 3 games by a combined total of, 7 points, I think that's a huge, huge statement for us. And I know in the past, whenever we've had a year where we've lost close games, we've come back and won it all. So I'm not surprised by it. I think it's actually one of the few, and I won't say unbiased because the recruiting rankings thing, in my opinion, is a biased metric or stat that goes into the formulation. But other than that, I'm not surprised by it at all. I think we have a huge opportunity to make another statement this year.
All right, Ben, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I wrote down when the schedule came out this past year was, is this football schedule good enough that if we go undefeated, we will have a chance to make the CFP? And one of the things that was mentioned in this article when ESPN came out with these chances to make the playoffs, this FPI rankings, is, as you mentioned, Roger, it is our highest FPI ranking ever at 14 in the country. But certainly with a 10% chance to make the playoffs, which is ahead of UF, it's one of the highest in the country. It's like 11 or 12 on their list as far as the chances to make the playoffs. I think that what at least the national pundits are saying right now is that this schedule is good enough that if we are able to run the table, we will have a chance of crashing that party finally and taking that next step into the college football playoff. And that's ridiculously exciting for us as UCF fans, because as Shaquille Griffin just said, all we need is an opportunity. And so being able to take on every opponent this year, and with the returners that we have and with the superstars that we the potential and the high ceiling that we have, if we are able to take on these tough opponents and able to run the table, which is a really tall task. I mean, we saw it in 2017 as being the only team in the country that was undefeated in Division I. If we're able to take on that challenge and come out on top, then we might have a chance at the highest prize, which is huge.
Well, one of the really interesting things here that I see is the win-out percentage. They're giving us a 16.2% chance. They're giving Clemson, which, by the way, our 16.2 is third on the list. They're giving Clemson 58.8% chance to win out. They're giving Ohio State 18.4, which is second. Then us third, 16.2. Alabama's below us, by the way, 12.4 chance to win out. So that's kind of cool. That's one of my favorite things there.
Kind of shows you what they think about Clemson's schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
In the ACC.
So, I mean, I don't look at these things as the end-all, be-all, obviously, but we're going to talk a little bit more about this, obviously, when we come back from this break that we're going to take here real quick. So we'll be back here in just a minute after these words, back on ESPN 580 Orlando on Knightline the morning after, just here in a couple minutes.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, back on Knightline the morning after. I'm Andrew Phegley, and we are live from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio, plus the 1148 studios. We've also got Roger Nightbingle on the phone, Brought to you by Chad Bar Law, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation, or visit chadbarlaw.com. Chad will totally take care of you if you've got any issues that you need to deal with. We are on ESPN 580 Orlando, by the way, and Roger is on the phone again, like I said, and then Ben is here in the studio, Ben Stout, Knightline Zone 7-footer. I still need to get your intro so we can play it on here.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't have it set up to do that. But back to this, we were talking before we went to break on college football power index for 2020. UCF Knights surprisingly up to me, surprisingly, because we don't get any recognition when we deserve it. We always deserve it. I think we've deserved it for the last 3 or 4 years at least, after winning a national championship and all that stuff. So them giving us even the 10% opportunity to make the national championship or the playoffs, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a big deal, even, just with 10% chance, because I think it's been a lot lower than that in the past. Like I said, I don't know if I've ever looked at this thing before, except for this year, now that it's being talked about like this.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is, and I greatly appreciate it, because I agree with it in the sense that we can't take this for granted, right? We talk mostly around this time or leading up to the college football season as UCF fans. We're talking about national rankings and national recognition, most of the time in a negative way, like, oh, this guy scorned us, or this guy doesn't think that we're in the. But so we have to kind of balance it out where we don't get too excited about this poll or this recognition that we're getting now. But what it really shows you is that progression. And what it is able to get excited about is us being recognized before the season starts. It allows us to have a stepping stone, or a better platform, a better foundation, that if we are able to accomplish our goal as a football team, which Dylan Gabriel is stating as going undefeated is our goal. We're attacking every game and going undefeated. That if we are able to accomplish that goal, then we might have the chance at the ultimate prize in college football, which we have not had in the past at this point. So that's extremely exciting. I mean, we're the only Group of 5 team in this rankings at the moment, and really any team in that quote unquote Power 5, if they go undefeated, they're automatically going to make the college football playoff. We know that for sure, and so being able to be a part of this group right now, gives us that opportunity, and that's exciting.
Well, one thing is everybody constantly wants to compare us to the Boise State team, and they, on this thing, projected they have a 0% chance of making the playoff, 0% chance. I'll just repeat that, 0% chance, 3% chance to win out. Ours is 16. They have a pretty good chance of having 6 wins, it says on here. But let me read the footnote. I think this is important. We're talking about this, but if you don't know what this football FPI thing is, the Football Power Index, FPI, is a measure of team strength that is meant to be the best predictor of a team's performance going forward for the rest of the season. FPI represents how many points above or below average the team is. Sorry. Projected results are based on 20,000 simulations of the rest of the season using FPI. Results to date and remaining schedule, ratings and projections updated daily. FPI data from seasons prior to 2019 may not be complete. So based on 20,000 simulations is where they're getting this stuff. It's interesting, and you can break it down by conference. So UCF obviously is the highest out of the American. They're giving us 100% chance of having 6 wins. 77.2% chance to win the division. or win the conference, because now we don't have any divisions, so that's a 0 on there. And 9.8, so we'll make that 10% to be in the playoff, and no one else in the American has even a chance, they're saying, to be in the playoff. The next highest ranking for the FPI for the American would be the Memphis Tigers. Mind you, our FPI that they're saying we are 17.3, Memphis Tigers being 7.0.
Yeah, 14 versus 37 ranking, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's a pretty big jump between the two there.
Well, Andrew, 37 was actually our previous highest ranking. So Memphis is getting some love, I would think, considering we had the 2017 undefeated season and then the 2018 season. The thing that's interesting to me is one of the metrics that they account for is the S&P. And the S&P right now is stating that the American for last season, okay, if you took UConn out, we actually rated higher than the ACC. So I think part of this is that our conference has a penchant for beating quote-unquote Power 5 teams, and the strength of Memphis and the success of Memphis, and even, when we joined the American, Memphis had no success. So the fact that they're bringing their game up, Houston should be a little bit better. But the fact that those teams are all Cincinnati's playing well, are all stronger, they're beating teams that are in the Power 5 and they're out-of-conference games, and then you layer on us playing UNC, which is supposed to be rated high, I think that's part of why you see that metric being so high for us. So I do think the American, is looked at a little bit more favorably than they were in the past, but part of that may be because the ACC is so weak. Outside of Clemson, Florida State's been in the toilet. Miami hasn't done anything. So you've got Clemson and UNC, which is who they're actually predicting for the championship game in the ACC. We have one half of that. So I think that certainly is helping the combination of the American playing better, especially against out-of-conference Power 5s, and then on top of that, having one half of the projected ACC champion on our schedule, I think that helps us immensely.
All right, so back to the American, like I was talking about. So the way that they have this set up, the American, UCF ranked number 14 in the Power Index, Memphis 37, Houston 44, Cincinnati 46, Navy 52, Tulsa 66, SMU 73, and the Cows, the Southwest Florida Community College Cows, 76. The Green Wave of Tulane, 86. Temple, 97. East Carolina, 99. One of the greatest things so again, our FPI, 17.3. The Southwest Florida Community College Bulls, minus 1.5. I love that.
In the negative.
Minus 1.5. So that's
they
a
almost got
thing.
Another number 2 rating just in the wrong direction.
Exactly.
They're all about that number 2, that's for sure.
The minus 1.5 is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen right there, just personally. I love it.
It's like about as many fans that are at their games, basically.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. They have a 0% chance, 0.7%. So they have a 0.7% chance to win the conference. That's beautiful. They have a 42.9, so we'll give them 43% chance of 6 wins. So I'm happy with that. That's all that really matters to me on this is that we are in the plus and they're in the negative. That's all that matters. Temple, it doesn't look like they're going to have a good
tie it
season
up,
either
right?
this year.
Because they still lead us by 1 game in the series. So this is our opportunity this year to tie it up.
Well, yeah, I we'll look past that a little bit. That they lead the series by a game.
We've surpassed them, so
yeah. I mean,
pretty much definitely. But my point is that's the one thing they've been holding over our heads for a period of time. And just to remind everyone, a lot of that was done when they were in a much higher conference than we were at the time, and they were recruiting better. But now we've won the last, I think, since Bortles was here, and we won that game in 2013. So we won 2017, 2018. They're not even close.
Yeah.
One of the things that was interesting, you were rattling off the rankings of the teams in the American, right? 4 teams in the top 50, 5 teams in the top 60, including Navy. Mountain West, where Boise State, is arguably the highest ranking team besides us in the quote unquote group of 5. They're at 35, but really no teams are in the top 60 in their conference. Most of the teams are, above 100 as far as the rankings go. So that's another kind of tip of the cap to the American as far as our schedule goes and who we have to beat in order to go undefeated. And that certainly only benefits us, not only for, to watch great games and great competitions as UCF fans, but if we're able to pull out those wins, there's some great benefits there.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, it's come to the time where we're pretty much done for this week. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you to Casey back in the studio for getting this problem figured out. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Roger, for calling in. We appreciate that as well, having you on the phone. Hopefully you can get back down here soon and we can do this all together again. Ben, thank you for being here in the 1148 studios with me. That'll do it for us this week, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week, 10 to 11 a.m. on ESPN 580 Orlando.